Welcome to Become a Puppet Master, a tutorial series focused on helping you become a Toonboom Puppet Master. I am your host, DeAndre Reed, professional animator and owner of Moco Productions, so let's jump in. So, yesterday we did a hand smashing in a downward motion, 2 parts, lower arm and hand. Today we're going to get a little more advanced. We're going to do a leg kicking a soccer ball. So, this is what it looks like. Alright, and this will require 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. The animation we did yesterday required 2 pieces, the forearm and the hand. So let's jump in and work on this. Okay, so first thing we want to do is create the layer, Control R. Name it, we'll start with the foot, add and close, and then, like always, you start with a circle. See, you go here. That's fine. Okay, start with the circle. Want it to be black. Start with the circle, and then zoom in a little. Adjust the properties so I don't have to fix the smoothing. I'll set the smoothing to about 25. The way I got to the smoothing was I went to tool properties with the pencil selected. I went to tool properties and then went to center line smoothing, set it to 25. That way it's a little more smooth as you draw. Alright, now we have the foot created, but let's move this drawing. I'm just clicking and dragging it to the first frame. Right? Now let's make the lower leg. So Control R. Let's call it lower leg. Add and close. Start with a circle. So we want to go back to the foot. Copy this circle that's on the foot. And then go to the lower leg. Paste it. And now draw the lower leg. Whoop. Be something like that. And now we want to make the top a circle, the top part of the lower leg. Okay, now we want to make the upper leg, so Control R, upper leg, add and close, and then you want to go back to the lower leg, copy the circle, Control copy, Control C, Control V to paste it back in the upper leg layer. So you took the lower leg circle, copied it, pasted it back in the upper leg layer. Now creating the upper leg. Or actually, let's end it in a circle just to make sure we're forming good habits. So we'll end it in a circle. So boom, there's the leg. But there's no pants. So we need to add pants to the top of this leg. So again, Control R. We'll call it pant or pants. I guess it would be pant with an Without an S? Yeah, okay. So we'll call it pant. Pant leg, I guess. Anyways. Create the pant. Cut. Use the cutter to cut away this access. Cutter is this tool up here. Cut away this excess. And boom. So now we have a leg with a pant on top of it. Yeah, a short leg pant. I don't know. I don't know what you would call it. A pant leg. Okay, so now we want to extend all of these layers to the end of our timeline. So you can select all of the layers at the end of the timeline and right click and then press extend exposure or F5. Or you could have selected all of these and press shift plus and push it all, and it would push all of the drawings, and you just hold it until it pushes it off to the end of your timeline. Okay, so now that that's done, now remember when we added pegs to the hand and the forearm yesterday, we have to do the same thing with this leg. So easy way to add pegs to all of these would be to go into our timeline, select all these layers. You could either select it in the node view like this by just clicking and dragging over all the layers, or you can select one of these at the very top. So in this case it'll be the pant, and then select the foot, right click, insert parent peg. So when you hit insert parent peg, it'll create a peg for each one of these layers. And now you have 4 layers that already have the names. Well, 4 peg layers that already have the names of the drawings on them. So you see pant peg, upper leg peg, lower leg peg. And to make this easier to view in the node view, select all of them. Then you press this button here, the order node view up. Overlap 25, layer spacing 60, vertical spacing 5. Press OK, and it will separate everything. And then you can adjust as you feel necessary. Boom. So now all of these have pegs. We still have to set the pivot points. So remember, select there. For the pant, the pivot point is all the way down here. If the pant is going to move, you want it to move from the top part of it. So it would move like this. So we want to move this pivot point to the top of the pant. Now, let's select the the upper leg. And the upper leg would also move from the top. Right? So we want to put the pivot point for the upper leg in the middle of this circle. So I just took the selection tool, selected the circle. Now I take the pivot point tool and I put it right in the middle. There we go. And now the pivot point is in the middle of this upper circle on the top of the upper leg. Now we want to select the lower leg, do the same thing. Lower leg moves from the upper part, the upper leg moves, then the lower leg follows after it from the knee. So this circle here would be the knee. So we select it with our selection tool. And we want to put our pivot point in the middle of the knee. Boom. So I guess that's a good point to think about. Think about it as joints, like we spoke about in the last episode. So this would be the hip joint. This would be the knee joint. So the upper leg will move from the hip joint. The lower leg will move from the knee joint. Now, we want to think about the foot. Where does the foot move from? it moves from your ankle. So this circle is the ankle. So we want to put the pivot point in the center. Took the selection tool, selected the circle. I'm going to put the pivot point in the center of this ankle. Boom. So now we have all our pivot points set, right? But they are not set to our peg layer. So we have to do what we did on last episode too. See, so on the peg layer, all of the pivot points are down here. So we have to do what we did last week, well, last episode, and set those pivot points on the parent peg. So we did that by going to this yellow box here. Apply embedded pivot on parent peg. Close. So now when we select the peg, it is up here. The peg has now moved from here to up there on the parent peg. Same thing here. So select the yellow, click the yellow box. Go down to the bottom. Go to apply embedded pivot on parent peg. Boom, set itself. And then let's do the same thing for the rest of these. Apply embedded pivot on parent peg. Apply embedded pivot on parent peg. Boom. So now all of these, the parent pegs should be in the joint areas that we talked about. So the foot is set to the ankle. The lower leg is set to the knee. The upper leg is set to the hip joint. And the pant is just set to the top of the pants. Right? So now, when we do a kicking motion, what leads first? So the upper leg moves, then the lower leg follows the upper leg, then the foot follows the lower leg, right? So the upper leg is the main part of the movement, is a part that everything else is following, right? So you want your lower leg connected to your upper leg, because your upper leg moves, then your lower leg follows, and then your foot follows your lower leg. So you want your foot connected to your lower leg peg. So your foot peg is connected to the lower leg peg, and the lower leg peg is connected to the upper leg peg. So the upper leg peg is the main one, that because the entire leg follows it. So your pants are free moving. It's not a part of your body. So your pants, when your upper leg moves, your pants are also following, right? It would be like secondary movement. If you have baggy pants on, your leg's going to hit the front of the pants, and then the back of the pants is going to follow. So we will connect the pants to the upper leg as well. There we go. So now let's move everything down. So in order to move this down without creating a keyframe, you would select animate off and then move it down. And then you can turn animate back on, animate current frame. Now, if we were to move it, it's going to create a keyframe. But we aren't to the animation step yet. What we are going to do next is we're going to color this in, and then we're going to hide the joints. That way you don't see the circles. So we want to, let's color this foot first. So we'll go to So now what you want to do is you want to take the colors that you colored in, and you want to put them on your color layer, right? And these are you have the overlay layer, the line layer, the color layer, and the underlay layer. So if you don't have all of these layers, you can go to Edit, Preferences, go to Advanced, and then you can click on support overlay and underlay layers, underlay arts, and you hit OK, and that will give you all 4 of these layers: the overlay, the line, the color, and the underlay. So we only need the line and the color layer right now. So let's select with the transform tool. We'll select the foot while we're on the line layer, and then select all of the colors that we just colored the lines in with. Now press Control Copy, delete. Now go to the color layer, Control V. So now if you go up here and you go to drawing, if you don't have this drawing layer, you can press the plus button and then click drawing, and it should add it. When we go here, you should be able to see the foot. Boom, with the colors. No lines. Now when you go to line, the line layer here should see just the lines. And while we're here, we can delete. We can just cut out. You can use your cutter, cut out this bottom part of the circle. Boom, gone. Now, select the lower leg with your transform tool and do the same thing. We want to select these colors. You can either do it on this main stage, or you can do it in your drawing, in this drawing view, and just select each of the colors. I'm just zooming in and out. I'm using 1 and 2, or you can use the magnifying glass. Okay, I copied it. Now I want to paste it. Control V, and I missed this line for the sock, so I want to go back, copy this color from select it, and then copy it, delete it, and then paste it. Control V. And now I have all the sock colors in this color layer. Now I'm going to go back to the line layer and delete the top of this circle. Anything that's not, if the circle is not part of the silhouette of the leg, then you want to delete that part. So this is inside of the leg. It's not part of the silhouette. So boom, gone. So leave the socks because it's just the circles that we need to delete. Leave the sock lines. Okay, now do the same thing. Select the upper leg with the transform tool, and we want to copy all the colors again. Select and copy all the colors. And the way I'm selecting all of these at once is I'm holding shift. If you don't know, you can just hold shift and then select each of the colors. So now I want to delete it. I copied it. Now I want to delete it, and Control V and paste all the colors. So these circles, the parts that aren't in the silhouette, that aren't creating part of the silhouette of the leg, you're going to go ahead and cut it out. So I cut the bottom of here and cut the top of here. Boom. Okay. So now we just have these little lines of the legs here that we don't want. So the way that you get rid of those is you go to the node library. If you don't have the node library, just press this plus, and then node library, click on it, and it will add it. So you go to the node library, and you want to type in auto patch, or AUTO, and it'll pop right up, auto patch. So you take that, you drag that into your node view. Now, what we want to do is we want to hide this line that's coming from this lower leg, and it's over the foot. And the way that you do that is use the auto patch. So you would connect this auto patch to the foot, right? And then you would put the auto patch in front of the lower leg, and it'll disappear. Boom. So basically what that does is the auto patch takes your color from your color layer and puts it on top of the line layer of the drawing that you put it in front of. So we took the auto patch, put the auto patch in front of the lower leg. So that means the auto patch took the color from the foot and put it in front of the line layer of the lower leg. So we're going to do the same thing. Take the auto patch again. And now we have the line from the upper leg that's over the lower leg. So we're going to take the auto patch, connect it to the lower leg, right? And we're going to put it in front of the upper leg. So it's going to take the color from the lower leg. So this auto patch is taking the color from the lower leg and putting it over the line of the upper leg. So, boom. Now the line for the upper leg is going. Now, there is one last thing we need to do before we start animating. And that's create the ball. So, yours will look something like this. So in order to make it a little easier to see, you can press this arrow here on the upper leg and boom, upper leg peg, and they all disappear. And then you can press Control R again, create a ball, B-A-L-L, add and close. Now you want to create a circle for the ball. Make sure it is on black, boom. Now we have a circle for the ball. We can just draw some lines in it. Boom, boom, and there we go. We have a ball. Cut off the excess with the cutter tool, and then we can color in the ball. Boom, 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 and that's it. So now you want to just extend this drawing to the end. So you can right click, press extend exposure, or shift plus, and now we're ready to go. So first thing we want to do is create the timing for the ball coming towards the leg, right? So you can make sure you're in the animate current frame. You have animate current frame selected. Then you take your transform tool. Oh, one thing that we did forget to do, select this circle like we did before so we can set the pivot point. So select the select that circle. Now the pivot shows up in the middle, but it's not in the middle when we select the ball itself. So what we'll do is select the ball with the selection tool, then select the pivot point tool and put it right in the middle there. Boom. So now we have a ball. We can add a peg to the top of this ball as well. And then, as we did the last time, call it ball underscore peg. And the way that I did that was by selecting the little yellow box on the side. If you didn't see, hit this yellow box here and renamed it at the top. Now you hit the yellow box on the ball drawing to set the pivot point to be the same as the drawing on the peg layer, like we did last time. Go to the bottom here, apply embedded pivot on the parent peg, and close. Boom. Now we are ready. Now you select the ball with your transform tool, drag it off stage. Then let's say the ball comes on stage. We'll start the ball coming on stage at frame, let's say 8. That'll give us time when we start animating the leg to lift the leg and prepare to kick it, right? And then we'll have it land close to the leg at frame 16. So let's just have it And here, the ball's a little high, so select your animate off, and then when you move it down, it'll move all of the keyframes down as well. So if we go back to frame 8 and move that one down as well. When you have animate off set, it moves all of the keyframes that you have set. So we'll put this back to animate current frame. Boom. So that's about where we want the ball to land. So we also want the ball to roll in a circle, right? So you can either take it and rotate it like this, or press this rotation button up here and you can rotate it. Boom. And that's about a rotation and a half. Rotation and a half. So now it's going from here to there and it'll rotate. So click in between your two keyframes here. Set motion keyframe. Right click and press set motion keyframe. So now it's coming in the screen. That's kind of fast. So let's move this second keyframe to frame 22 and see how fast that is. That's better. Okay. So now we have this ball coming in the screen. We want to set this ball to 2s. So you select all of these frames from the first keyframe to the second one. And then we press this button over here, the create keyframes on, and remember we set it to 2. Check keep existing keyframes, check force keyframe at end, and press OK. Press OK, and boom, it sets it to 2s. So now, ball's coming in on 2s. And now we can start animating the leg. So before the ball arrives on screen, the person whose leg this is, they're going to see the ball coming before it actually comes on screen. If this were reality, they would see the ball coming before it comes on screen, right? So we want to insert a keyframe. So right click, insert keyframe, or you can press F6. Now we want to click our transform tool. So our keyframe is on frame 1. And then let's say frame 10. It lifts up. And then we're going to select this lower leg. We want the lower leg to lift up as well. Then select the foot. You want the foot to lift up as well. Boom. Okay. And then here is where we want the foot to come through and kick the ball. So we would boom, want it to hit like that. So boom, and then it's going to follow through on its way to kicking the ball, just like that, right? And then it would end with the foot up. There we go. So boom, that's what you want right there. Okay, so let's set motion keyframe. Right click, set motion keyframe. Boom. And then we're going to want this to hold for a little while. So you want it to lift up, hold in preparation for the ball landing where it needs to be to be kicked. So we'll hold this for a couple frames. So we're just going to put insert keyframe at frame 14. Because that's the same keyframe twice. So that means it'll hold it in the same place. And then we want to hit set motion keyframe again. So now it's coming down. I have the foot's moving here. So I can set stop motion keyframe so the foot won't move there. Oh, the wrong thing. Set stop motion keyframe, or Control L. So the foot stops moving there. So boom, stops. So the foot's not moving there anymore. And then we still need it to follow through. So set motion keyframe to set the follow through. So this is what it looks like right now. Boom. So the timing is a bit off. So we want to ease out. So you want to slowly lift the leg. Like, hold, kick quickly. So do, boom, kick quickly. So I'm going to ease out like you usually would. So in order to see where our last frame was, we will, actually this is what we'll do. We'll insert keyframe here. Boom. Then sets, and then pull it. I pulled it to frame 3 because that's the second. If we're working on 2s, that would be where the second keyframe goes. So just set stop motion keyframe, then set motion keyframe again in between these, and now I can choose what the next drawing, the position of the next drawing should be. So we can lift it pretty high to the middle. So I'm going to choose frame 6 here. Keyframe, set stop motion keyframe, and then move it so that it is on frame 5, which would be the third keyframe on 2s. And then set motion keyframe again, or Control K. Then I want to set it about right here. And then we can slow into this top motion. So I want to insert a keyframe at frame 8. And then set stop motion keyframe. And then move this back here. Now, if we're working on 2s, I need one more drawing. I need one more drawing to be in between here in order to add an extra keyframe. If we're working on 2s, see, we got drawing on 7, so that means there needs to be a drawing on 9, and then there needs to be a drawing on 11, right? So I can move this to 11, and then set motion keyframe again between 7 and 11, and then we want to go close to 11, so we're gonna take the interpolation that's on frame 10, the interpolation that the computer did, and turn that into a keyframe, but move it to frame 9 so we're still working on 2s. So boom. So that's what we got. Okay. Boom. So now we can go and adjust this first part. So we don't want everything to end on the same frame, right? We want things to move at different, not at different paces. You want everything to move together, but you don't want everything to end together. So this leg is lifting up. Boom, 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 boom. So what we can do is we can add another keyframe at the very end here. So we're on frame 11, so we need another keyframe at 13 if we're working on 2s. So we'll put insert keyframe here, right click, insert keyframe, and lift this leg a little bit just so that it creates a little bit of movement that's not all together, right? So that everything doesn't stop altogether. Boom. And then what I'll do is I'll go to the ball peg, press Shift plus to move it over 1. That way everything is on the same 2 frames. See what I mean? On the ball layer and on the leg layer. Boom. Now it's going to come down and kick the ball. Whoop. Boom. So we want that to happen quickly. So what we'll do is set stop motion keyframe. Delete this first keyframe here, and then insert keyframe again so that it's the same as this last one. Then we can set motion, and now this foot is coming down, and we want it to be much faster than that. So we'll do the same thing that we did on the first set of frames. We'll choose which part of the interpolation we want to use as our drawings. Go to frame 18. We want it to come down fast, so you don't want it to ease out too much, but you still want the next keyframe to be close to the last one. So insert keyframe, set stop motion in between them. You got that motion here, and then you want to set motion keyframe again. And this time, let's set it to the very middle of these two keyframes here on frame 21. So we want to press insert keyframe and then set stop motion keyframe again. Set stop motion keyframe. And then since we're working on 2s, the next frame should be 20. So this one's on 21. You want to drag it back to 20. Boom. Okay. Got it here. Okay. So boom, boom. Then we want, that's the one we want next. So we'll move backwards. We'll move this frame back twice. There you go. So now these are too many frames in between here. So we want to drag this back as well. So, and then these frames are offset again, so we want to press the minus button just to make sure these frames are on this. These drawings are on the same frames, are both on 2s. So boom, boom, and down there. And we're going to get a follow through. So we're going to take the frame, take frame 24, insert keyframe, set stop motion keyframe, and then pull this backwards so that they're all in the same frames. Boom. We're going to have something like that. Okay, that's close to what we want. So we're going to take this last drawing, move it to frame 25, and then we're going to insert one more frame behind frame 25 so that it has a frame that it's easing into at the top here. Boom. So something like that. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, cool. So how about when we hold at the top here to make this look a little bit better, hold at the top here, we hold for 2 more frames. 1, 2. And now we come down, make contact with that ball, follow through, and then land at the top. But remember what I said last time, we don't want everything to end on 1 frame. So let's go back and create some follow through. Boom, boom. Right? So let's follow through with this foot. We'll create some follow through with this foot. Oh. Make sure you're working on the same, on 2s on the same frames as the keyframes. Boom. Now insert keyframe at the end here, the very end here. And then on frame 29, I'm going to adjust the foot down so that this is the one that's easing into the final frame. And everything doesn't end all together, so actually I want to pull this lower leg down just a little as well. Let's see. There we go. So maybe we can, there we go. So let's see. I think that might be actually too many frames. It seems like it's slow, right? Boom. The motion coming down seems like it might be a little slow. Let's go here and see what frames we can remove. Boom. So let's remove this frame here. So I'll press the minus twice to get rid of it. Let's see what that does. There we go. A little faster. So now that we have the leg movement down, we can animate the ball leaving the stage. Boom. So it hits here. So remember the bouncing ball. It's going to do a little bit of squash. Lift this up. Squash. Boom. And then you'll have the ball. Go back and copy the perfect circle like we talked about during the bouncing ball. You're gonna have the ball here. It says stop motion keyframe. And have the ball stretch there. And then Control V because we copied the perfect circle, and it's off. It's gone. So let's see what we got here. Boom. There you go. And that is a ball, a foot kicking a ball. And now we've moved from 2 parts on a rig to working with 5 parts and interacting with a ball and interacting with another object, which is the ball. So thanks for watching episode 3. I will see you next time on episode 4.